The Big U situation keeps getting worse every time we cover it, but this could very well be his rock bottom. I don't see it getting any worse than this, man. It was already bad enough that Big U is currently in jail facing a racketeering case and a murder case that could potentially keep him in jail for a lifetime. That was bad enough. And then his son got shot and killed while he's in jail. That's bad enough. But this latest development just made all of that look even 10 times worse.
New details on a shooting we first brought you yesterday morning. A man killed in South LA on Halloween night is the son of a former rap executive and alleged former gang leader.
34-year-old Jabari Henley is the son of Eugene Henley, better known as Big U. Eugene Henley once managed Nipsey Hussle and is alleged to be the former leader of the Rollin' 60s Crips gang. Police say Jabari was shot and killed near Figueroa and 69th Street after he walked up to a vehicle and someone inside opened fire before driving off. Police say his father's gang ties are a major part of the investigation.
Losing a son is bad enough, but this was especially bad for Big U. One, he's in jail, couldn't spend time with his son, haven't seen his son in a minute, and he lost his son while he's incarcerated. But Baby Huey was the closest son to Big U. That's the son who looked like Big U, who imitated Big U, who did everything Big U did, who followed in his footsteps. Baby Huey was little Big U, right? Like he was Big U's twin. So to lose that son particularly is heartbreaking. There's nothing in the world that could help ease that pain after losing a son. But the one thing that could possibly help you with the closure, with working through the situation, is being able to see your son for the last time, being able to attend his funeral and say your proper goodbyes to him. So as expected, Big U asked the court to allow him to be released to go to his son's funeral. Now, this is not an abnormal request, to be honest. Some people are allowed with an escort to go to funerals, see their loved ones, say their last goodbye, and then come back to jail as they await their sentencing. This is not something that's new. This is a pretty regular practice. But the prosecutor's response to Big U was not something he was expecting. Man, these prosecutors is cutthroat, man. They said, listen here, bruh. All right, for a parent to have to bury a child is a tragedy that no one should suffer. For a parent to miss that burial is yet another tragedy. But unfortunately, this one they really start to kick Big U's back in. They said, unfortunately, such is this case here. First, regardless of the circumstances, the factors set forth in the Bill Reform Act still apply. And here, defendant Big U, also known as, Eugene Henley, also known as Big U, is charged with the murder of a young man who himself was buried by his parents. A funeral that Big U famously did not attend, despite knowing the victim his whole life, managing his music career and paying for the trip that will be his last moments on earth, because Big U was accused of killing Rayshawn Williams, who is his son's best friend, when they went to a trip to Vegas for Rayshawn to record music. Amidst the other vast and sweeping allegations in this case, the Bill Reform Act continues to demand detention based on danger and risk of non-appearance. Just in case you ain't following this legal jargon, let's lay it out as simply as possible, okay? The prosecutor said, hold on, man. Come on, bruh. Sympathy? Sympathy for Big U? Where was this sympathy at when he murdered somebody else's son?
Accused of being a longtime leader of the Rollin' 60s Crips gang, Eugene Henley Jr. has become known in recent years for his charity work to reduce gang violence. Now the FBI is accusing him of running a criminal enterprise that committed a series of crimes, including a murder back in 2021. NBC4's Alex Rozier live with details you see for the first time and only on 4. Alex.
Michael, Big U is in federal custody right now. Prosecutors say they have probable cause to believe that he killed a man in Las Vegas in 2021, then dragged his body into the desert. Today, I learned the man killed is closely connected to Big U's family.
Like we said before, the person they're referring to is Rayshawn Williams. Rayshawn Williams was allegedly murdered by Big U in Vegas. Now, Rayshawn Williams was really close to Big U. He lived with Big U at some point because Big U's son and him were best friends. Now, there's various motives being floated out there as to why Big U supposedly killed Rayshawn Williams, but the feds is going with, like, Rayshawn Williams recorded a diss track towards Big U when they were having issues. Big U heard the diss track when they were in the studio in Vegas. He snapped, he killed Rayshawn Williams, and then deserted the body. Now, there are other things such as Big U instructing the studio to get rid of all the cameras. Big U telling the police he hadn't seen Rayshawn Williams in 6 months, even though he's seen Rayshawn Williams that weekend. I'm hard on criminals, but I don't think the excuse of, hey, Big U supposedly killed somebody else's kid so he can't go to his son's funeral. Now, that argument to me would make sense if we were talking about somebody who was already convicted. They were already convicted of the murder. They were in jail doing their time. Then, yeah, you shouldn't be able to go out and see your son if you kill somebody else's son. But Big U is currently fighting the charges. He is presumed innocent until guilty. So if he's presumed innocent, then whatever charges you're accusing him of don't really matter or shouldn't play a factor in him going to see his son until he's guilty, until he's found guilty, okay? But, the murder of Rayshawn Williams isn't the only reason why the prosecutors is against Big U being released. One of the factors they use when trying to determine whether or not you're eligible to be released is they look at, can you follow rules in prison? Because if we're going to trust that you're going to follow rules outside of prison, we need to know that you're following the rules while you're incarcerated. And the one thing the feds know is that even if you are a model citizen, they have that trump card in their back pocket to where, the feds lay out a trap when you go to jail, right? They give you 10 minutes of phone time every day, knowing you're going to have to use more phone time. So what you're going to do, you're going to break some prison rules. You're going to have other people give you their account so you can make calls that are necessary, right? You're going to hop on three-way calls, right? For example, if you call somebody from jail and they put you on another call with another family member, that's a three-way call. That's not allowed. But those are things they really don't enforce until it's time to tell the judge, hey, judge, he can't be released. We don't trust him to follow rules because he's been breaking rules in prison. They know for 100% fact that 99.9% of prisoners are going to break them phone rules because the phone rules is idiotic. And that's what's been happening with Big U. The prosecutors told the judge, man, listen, Your Honor, we can't trust this man to be released and go to his son's funeral and come right back because he's been breaking rules. He's been using other inmates' accounts to make phone calls. He's been on three-way calls with other people. That's not allowed. He's been telling people when he calls them from one account, they shouldn't greet him with Islamic greetings because that would tip off the police to know that this is Big U using somebody else's account since Big U is the big Muslim on the floor. They would also say, all right, that Big U is instructing callers only to ever use encrypted applications for such three-way calls and to utilize only those same applications when discussing any of his business. The feds then began to play a really dirty game with Big U. They began to bring up other things that don't necessarily have anything to do with Big U's request to be released temporarily. They're just using this so they could further cause more chaos to Big U's life. So the feds brought up the fact that Big U has a wife. However, he's been using them phone calls for extracurricular activities with other women. This is just petty, man, because they got no reason to say this in his paperwork. So the feds will say the content of those calls itself are also in violation of BOP policy, as the majority of the calls using other inmate numbers are to an individual identified that defendant refers to as his girlfriend. In those calls, defendant discusses how to thwart BOP mail policy so that defendant can receive illicit photos of her while incarcerated, as well as hiding those photos in legal folders while simultaneously engaging in phone act. Defendant and his girlfriend have also devised a scheme in which his girlfriend will sign up for a single paralegal class so that she could visit him in custody, subverting MDC rules that only allow for immediate family or legal visitations. This ain't right, man. What happened to guy code, bruh? Like, I understand, man, like, you a prosecutor, he's a criminal, y'all going back and forth. Now, you don't want to concede any ground code. Now, if this was something that was like a really important, pivotal motion in court, now I could understand you going to this extent, exposing everything in your wheelhouse. But, bro, you doing this much, bro? You exposing him to this extent? You ruining his life and causing this much chaos, bro? Over what? A motion to be released temporarily to go to his son's funeral? This is just nasty work, man. I don't think I ever thought I would say where I said, man, I feel somewhat, just a little bit bad for Big U, man. Your wife getting notified you cheating on her because you requested to be temporarily released to go to your son's funeral, bruh. But apparently, him cheating is not the only thing the feds is taking seriously. Big U got a couple of co-defendants, and apparently Big U has been using them phone calls to try to re-galvanize his co-defendants to be loyal to him again. Because it's been widely reported, bruh, them co-defendants have been dropping like flies, bruh. Them co-defendants been telling like a mug, man. So the feds is claiming they got calls where Big U has discussed sending messages to his co-defendants who are on pretrial supervision with orders not to contact co-defendants, a desire to enforce a rule that no one in the case be allowed to plead guilty unless defendant does. So now, first off, like I can see if the rule is, hey, none of us can plead guilty until we all decide to plead guilty. But I'm facing a substantial amount of time too. And I hear from you that I can't plead guilty unless you plead guilty, man, cut it out, bro. Man, bro, call me a rat, bro. Man, listen, if that makes me a rat, call me a rat, bro. Man, I'll be damned. What, excuse me? Like, I can't take a plea. I can't do what's right for myself unless you take a plea deal too. Man, cut it out, man. Because that's not even, we're all sticking together. No, we gotta serve you. And that's apparently what Big U was doing, okay? Big U was apparently using the phone calls to tell people, man, we is enforcing this, man. If any one of them take a plea deal before I take a plea deal, man, y'all got to enforce that, man. All right, man, it's the big crib. What you mean, bro? It's Big 6-0. All right, man, you can't let them folks just snitch on me and get away with it, bro. It's Big 6-0. What y'all talk? So Big U apparently, right, was expressing a desire to enforce a rule that no one in his case will be allowed to plead guilty unless he does. Getting in touch with a confidential informant in this case, hiring and paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a team of lawyers, investigators, and paralegals, and otherwise coded communications. The judge heard both sides, and the judge sided with the prosecution. There's just too much going on here. You've done broke too many rules. We can't trust you. We can't operate in good faith that you will go to that funeral and come back, especially when you actually fled initially. Like, y'all remember when the feds came to arrest everybody? Big U got tipped off the feds was coming to arrest everybody that day, and he left the night before. He went on the run. And it wasn't until he put his affairs in order that he turned himself in. So in that case, you already got that one strike, and now you're breaking rules in prison, right? So I think him breaking rules to me is the reason that makes the most sense. The other stuff, listen, I do believe Big U murdered Rayshawn Williams. I think he did it, okay? I think that he's guilty, 100% guilty regarding that, but he's still innocent until guilty. So I'm not going to allow my opinion of Big U's guilt to say that that's a justification. No, because if he's innocent until proven guilty, then the possibility of him murdering somebody else's son being the reason why y'all don't want him to go ahead and see his son in a tit-for-tat petty battle, I don't think that's cool because, again, he's innocent, right? So as of now, he's not a murderer. He's not a criminal. He's a man being accused of things, okay? But for the most part, man, if you breaking rules in prison, you are probably never going to get the benefit of the doubt to get perks and privileges such as being released to go see your son. But y'all let me know in the comment section, man, what do you guys think about this, man? Do y'all believe that the prosecution in the state or the government, I should say, should allow Big U to go see his son? Let me know, okay? If you're still watching this video and want to watch another good video, then click on this video right here somewhere on my screen to find out how this Chicago mom and son almost got killed while walking home from school by these hooligans, right, at the Birthright or the Brighton Elementary School in Chicago. The entire thing is crazy. The internet is going crazy with it, bruh. People are showing up to the school to find the kids to beat, bruh, it's a mess. Click on this video right here to find out what I'm talking about. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.